when you talk about the unpaid nurses and midwives demanding for 11 months of salary arrears. And the coalition of unpaid and midwife under the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association is demanding the immediate payment of salary arrears after receiving only 1 month pay for nearly a year's work. And the group says that they have worked continuously for 12 months across public health facilities, but were paid for just a single month, a situation they describe as cruel and demeaning. And today I am here with Jeffrey Nati Opata, right? The Greater Accra Secretary of the Coalition of Unpaid Nurses and Midwives. Sir, good morning.
Good morning.
And how are you doing?
I'm good. I hope you're doing well too.
By God's grace, I'm fine. I'm happy to have you in our studios this morning to delve into this whole demand for arrears for 11 months, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I want to ask you that you are calling for pay us immediately. Can I know how many nurses are affected within this period?
Okay. So, thank you very much for the opportunity. I would like to also say hi to all nurses and midwives in Ghana, especially members of our coalition. That's the Coalition of Unpaid Nurses and Midwives Ghana. So, regards to your question, our membership extends to 6,261 members
Across the country?
Across the length and breadth of the country, all the 16 regions represented. We have nurses and midwives who have been working for the past, this is our 13th month, so we have been working for 13 months. And then the first time our salary came was last month, that is November of this year. And then when it came, the salary came, just 1 month salary was paid. Before that, there were a lot of, I'm sure you saw some actions all over the news regards to a demonstration that we had to go, starting from the Ministry of Finance to the Ministry of Health. So owing to that demonstration, the ministry or cabinet released an amount of money for our salary payments. And then we were informed that we are going to receive 1 month's pay in November. And then they are going to use our assumption of duty dates to pay the arrears. And then the timeline will be given for the payment of arrears once the 1 month pay was done. So the 1 month pay was done by the close of 30th November. Most of our members had received, except about 300 of our members who hadn't received their salary. So majority of us had received their salary. However, since then, we've not had any form of official communication from the ministry or its agencies to the effect of how our salaries or the arrears, 11 months arrears, were going to be paid.
Okay, so I want to ask you that when did the arrears begin and what explanations have officials been saying so far?
All right, so as you all know, recruitment into the government sector is a process. So we were duly granted financial clearance to begin work. And then most of us, due to the interview stages and other processes, most of us started in December 2024, and then others in January 2025. So what happened was that even after you are recruited, it takes a process for you to be enrolled onto the payroll.
The payroll, it takes a process.
Yes,
you go through a process before you have been enrolled.
Sure. So we were about 13,000 that were recruited. And then out of that 13,000, about 7,000 of us were already put on the payroll, and then they were receiving salaries. And then there was an official communique from the chief of staff that recruitment should cease, and that all those who were recruited should go home. But then, the health sector is a very critical sector that you can't ask personnel who are duly qualified to go home. Because if you tell us to go home, the next recruitment phase, it will still be our year group that will be recruited.
Yeah.
So they had to allow us to continue with the promise that our salaries were going to be paid. And then we waited, some of us got validated, the salaries never came. When we followed up, we were told that the financial clearance that was used to secure our recruitment had expired. Then they needed to get an extension from the Ministry of Finance. It wasn't coming, and that's why we had to stage some actions, including the demonstration.
Yeah.
So that spanned 12 months before we were able to get the salary, which was 1 month salary.
So as it stands, that you've been paid just 1 month.
Yes.
So I want to ask that how has this arrears within these 11 months affected you people, the family, society, everything? How has it affected?
So it hasn't been easy. Even coming to this place, I had to walk all the way from Dome Plateau to Christian Village just to be able to make sure that the little I have, I'll be able to take a car from Christian Village to this place. So it hasn't been easy because our lives has been put to a stop. We are not able to get money to feed ourselves. In a 12 month, that's last month, most landlords ejected our members. Most of us are in severe debt. Some are not even able to pay their water bills, electricity bills. Some have children, they are not able to feed their children. Some have parents dependent. So the whole thing has been so catastrophic to the extent that when the 1 month pay was made, it was announced to the entire Ghana that all nurses and midwives have been paid.
Yeah.
They didn't even explain. The Ministry of Health didn't even explain that, oh, we will only pay the 1 month and then later we will pay the remaining arrears.
So
they said
it looks like they've
it was quite yes, it looks like they've paid everything. It was quite deceptive.
But it was just 1 month they paid. Yes. Remaining 11
Sure.
months.
And because of that, our debtors were on us. Once the salary came, everyone was on us asking for all the landlords that we asked them to hold on. And then when we get our arrears, they all heard in the news that we have been paid. So they were all on us. And it hasn't been easy at all. If I should get into the details of personally my struggle, I owe about 24,600 cedis as I speak to you.
You married?
Yes, I'm not married. I owe about 24,000. Student loan, every month they send me alerts that I should pay my student loan that I took whilst in school. And then if I don't do that, they are going to publish my name all over. So these things, if you see nurses or midwives crying for their salaries, it's not as though you're asking for a luxury or what we don't deserve. Something that we have duly worked for and we deserve.
So has this situation forced a lot of them to leave the profession or maybe considering leaving the country?
So at my facility where I work, when the validation was being done in November, I realized that we had about 6 of our members who had just left the profession. Not just because they want to leave the profession, but they were so tired. Just yesterday, someone sent me a message that she didn't get the November pay. That's a 1 month pay. And this month to the validation, she was not part. So she sent you a message just yesterday that it looks like she has to stop nursing and maybe consider other alternatives because it's becoming unbecoming. You leave home, you tell people that you are going to work. Everybody expects that you're a career man or a career woman. At the end of the day, everyone is contributing for electricity bills, you can't contribute. Water bills, you can't contribute. There's no contribution at home. Even if you are asking for toilet fee, you can't. Excuse my words. If you are asking for toilet fee, you can't even contribute. So it's so appalling. And then I think something should be done about it.
So how has this situation affected our productivity within the hospital and health facilities? Because we need nurses to work. And for nurses not being paid for 11 months and just 1 month pay is being given currently, how do you foresee that affecting our health facilities and our productivity as a whole health sector?
One thing I think our leaders are not considering is that nursing and midwifery is a service.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a service. And then that spirit was put in us in our training. So over the years, regardless of the harsh treatment, the neglect, we've seen nurses, especially during COVID-19, where nurses were at the front line helping saving lives. So it's kind of a service. However, we are also humans. And then imagine, like this morning, I'll be going to work and then I haven't eaten. Then I'm seeing about tens of
It
patients.
means that it can even affect your relation between yourself and
Even my mood
yeah.
will not be stable. And the client will think that I have an issue with him or her. But all is because of the government refusing to pay me. So if you want to consider productivity, whether we like it or not, we are nurses and it's a service. However, when the caregiver is not being cared for, when the caregiver is hungry, we shouldn't expect 100% output. And then if you don't expect 100% output, you know that these people are we have nurses working in ICU, critical care. And then this critical care nurse is not being taken care of well. How do you expect a person to be able to critically manage such a patient? When you go to some hospitals like Kolebu, where you have one nurse managing about 3 or 4 severely critical cases, sometimes 5. And then this nurse has not eaten the whole day and has come for night duty. Doesn't even have a place to sleep.
It's a very worrying situation as it stands now. But do you think that this can worsen Ghana's strained healthcare system with this situation?
Yeah,
Because
so
if a nurse is not eating, is not well, well receiving the thing that he or she needs to get along with patient, how is it going to be? So do you think that it will continue to be a threat or worsen Ghana's strained healthcare system?
let me put it on record. It is even a national security threat. That a nurse is hungry and is working on patients. It's a national security threat. And I believe that there should be an urgent resolution to the matter. Because as we speak, we have nurses or people who are aspiring to be nurses. Some may look at the situation and decide not to even join the service anymore. I had my sister who has started nursing. Looking at how things were going, I just asked her to ask the school if they could change the program for her, or if not, buy forms for the next year and start another program. So looking at all these things, already.
So I'm trying to say that now the nursing career is no more attractive.
Yes, it's becoming very unattractive. Even though we will still have people who would still like to be in the service, some don't actually know the issues at hand. But when our issues came out, let's if you are going to talk about the details, we are 2020 year group.
2020.
Yes, and we have 2020 receipt group at home, 2021 main group and receipt at home, 2022 main group and receipt at home. So all these people are also unemployed, and those who are even employed
are not
being paid. Don't you think such a person who is unemployed will decide to leave either the profession or even leave the country? Then the next time you come and complain about brain drain, we'll be crying that we are losing our nurses to health system like the UK and the US. But
because opportunities keeps coming.
Sure. Daily basis, the opportunities. And our people, if care is not taken, you may go to the hospitals and then you will not have nurses. In a few years to come, you may go to the hospitals in the ICUs because some of these people are in high demand. The ICUs, the perioperative nurses, you may go to the hospitals and you will not see them anymore. And then when this happens, do you know what the government will have to start to create a short program to be able to train nurses.
Yeah.
Then you go back to the days where we have to start nurse assistant courses. You understand? So the government should see this issue as an agency, as a threat to the security of our nation. Because when it comes to the well-being of a person, the health, I don't know whether you all read about a philosopher that talked about the needs.
Yeah.
Where we talked about having your basic needs, and then the basic needs are food, shelter. The food is a health component. You understand? So, and then you move on to security needs and all that. The security needs is what? Your job role, your function in society in terms of your employment. And then we have nurses, midwives, who are serving in these two critical areas, the basic and the security needs. And at the end of the day, we are not taking care of them. So I think it is a threat. And then whoever is involved, whether cabinet, the president, chief of staff, finance ministry, ministry of health, I think they should.
So I want to ask you, which institutions have you engaged so far demanding for the arrears? Which institution have you engaged so far?
So, as health personnel, we are directly under the Ministry of Health.
Here.
And then aside being under the Ministry of Health, we have various agencies, the teaching hospitals, Canal Service, CHAC, and all that. So unofficially, our members have sought a resolution through their agencies. However, as a coalition or as a group, we have directly tried to get in touch with the Ministry of Health. So we have written to the Ministry of Health seeking, first of all, for an engagement, and secondly, for a clear timeline for our payments to be made. We have had some calls unofficially, as it may be, and then we've asked them that if indeed this is what you intend to do, then make it public, make it official. Don't stand on Facebook, your Facebook post, your individual Facebook. I mean, if you are a director or a staff at Ministry of Health that is directly involved in our issue, don't sit on your Facebook wall and put that, we will be paying nurses on this day. The ministry has an official platform on Facebook and all other social media platforms. They have a letterhead.
Okay.
Put an official message on a letterhead on your social media platforms and circulate it. And I think when our members see something like this, at least they will get an assurance that the matter is going to be resolved. But even with all the official engagement we have tried to call out, all that we are getting is unofficial.
Okay, so do you feel that with what is currently happening, do you feel that government is treating nurses and midwives with urgency and respect they deserve?
I think the facts shows that the government is not putting us as a priority. We are the front lines of patient care. When a patient enters the hospital, aside passing through the records office, health information office, when it comes to the care, the touch, the first point of care is the nurse. But the government is not seeing this as a first point of care. And it is pathetic.
So what's the way forward for the coalition?
So the coalition is asking that, first of all, we demand immediate release of our arrears, 11 months of arrears. And the government said it is going to bring a payment plan. That's the Ministry of Health and then the Finance Ministry, according to the financial clearance granted us. So what we are seeking is that they should bring the payment plan. And now, we are even tired of a plan. We just want the arrears. Because if you say a plan, is it going to be every month you receive 1 month, or is it going to be every 3 months you receive 1 month, or you are going to receive half? The coalition believes that even if we are called for an engagement about a payment plan, we are only expecting that the arrears is going to be divided into two.
So it means that you are calling for a plan,
yes,
a payment plan.
Yes, but the plan should be that the arrears is going to be paid in 2 months.
Okay.
Where it is going to be divided into, let's say, 6 months and then 5 months. Then you pay it within 2 months. Or immediate payment of all the arrears in 1 month. Any other thing, I think we will not be able to bear it. You will not be able to bear it. Because once you are paying 1 month and those things, you are telling the public that you are paying it. You see, that is the problem. When you pay 1 month, then you tell the public you are paying everyone. And the whole public feels that everyone is being paid the full arrears. And then the debtors keep coming on us.
So
Student loan keeps coming on us. There's no clarity.
Okay.
So we demand a full arrears payment and clarity to the rest of Ghana.
Okay. We are so much grateful. That was the Greater Accra Secretary for the Coalition of Unpaid Nurses and Midwives, Jeffrey Nati Opate. And that is Opata. Thank you for the correction. And there is the Unpaid Nurses and Midwife under the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwife Association demanding for an immediate payment of their salary arrears for 11 months. I know that as we've had the discussion here, government will immediately come to your aid for these arrears to be paid. I know how worrying it is, but I hope that right after this conversation, something will be done for the coalition for you to have a release to work wholeheartedly with your heart without moving or considering moving from the country or the profession. So we are so much grateful having
Thank you very
here.
much.